Conversations with the Phumzile, the girl next door. It's that time again. And sure, I have my favorite Mkulu base. I see the white is becoming more. Yeah. So I'm Mkulu base, and that I love from the men's perspective. How are you guys?
We are fine. I am fine.
You are fine.
Yes.
And you?
Oh, so is Tumelo.
We look fine. we look fine. Don't we? We look fine.
It's good. This time around, you need no introduction, Peggy no Muzi, because I think we've done this. This is our third time or fourth time? Third officially. Third time. So I'm not going to introduce you. If you want to know who they are, where do they come from, and what they are about, so just follow us and then check Peggy and Muzi. So guys, thank you for blessing me again. And I am the rose amongst
the lilies.
Yes, the lilies, the thorns. And it's Women's Month.
And Women's Day.
Thank you. And I'm surrounded beautifully. So we are here today. I'm having butterflies. My heart is beating. There's everything in me because we planned to have conversations monthly. And things happened.
Yeah.
And by right, I think we needed to restore, we needed to heal, we needed to, when we get back to the space, we share what we need to share honestly as we are living our truths. So I'm going to start with slightly going back a bit from the conversation that we had, so that it is those who are joining us for the first time, hey, subscribe, so you get to know why this trio, and I said duo. Why us? Why the three of us? We've spoken about spirituality, religion, culture, and us, navigating our lives with all those different beliefs, from being born in a certain environment where you are either born Christian or traditional, believing in everything traditional, or meeting that as you go. And then we also spoke about the gift, which is Bungoma, Buprofeti, Bufundisi. So we've covered a whole lot of things. And we've spoken about relationships, we've spoken about divorce, growing family, and we are here. So I would like you guys to reflect a little bit from what we've spoken about. Anyhow, in all of those, I'll start with you, Bheki Lukhele, Ngosi. Where are you now in the conversations that we've been having, and how you've been navigating your life, knowing who you are now, being you, as we've spoken about your surname, and having like many surnames, and also as a man, and again, your journey of ubufundisi, your journey, yabokoko nabomkhulu, and you still discovering yourself in this life, and I don't know if you subscribe to spirituality or now you are just you, like whatever you subscribe to or you believe. Where are you now?
Okay, I had to be on the spot. I had to be on the spot first. I greetings to the audience, wherever they are in the world. And the audience in the house as well. There's audience in this house. And happy Women's Month, or happy Women's Day also. One day we'll talk about where it comes from, but today we
not today.
Here. Yeah.
Okay.
Where am I? Wow. I'm still finding myself.
Okay.
That's number one. I'm still finding myself. I'm still unwrapping myself and finding out there are a lot of things I did not know about me, and a lot of things I'm still learning about me. Like we said, I said the other day, Christianity is not a bad thing. We should not look back scornfully at it and say, because whatever that we are, it has shaped us in a way and sharpen us in a way, what we know and what we don't know. For us to be here, for us to be where we are, we were shaped by our experiences.
Yeah.
Experiences shape us, and they shape the people that we become. So whether good or bad, we cannot look back at them and scorn them and say, you know, I hate those experiences. Some good, some not so good, but they made us who we are. Okay. So where am I? I'm still finding myself every day. Church-wise, I'm still caught in between. I'm an ordained bishop. I'll always say this. I still preach. I still there and there. I still preach, and I still have to establish the church that is needed. But I think part of the reflection would get some of the things. Kobokoane, yeah, the journey continues. I'm finding out a lot. I went through a certain process. Yokwamukela abogogo, bamukela, because we're learning these things. Remember, we've been colonized for a very long time in our own personal space. Went through a process to know Guti. Not everyone on abogogo yatwasa, and it does not mean funegyo twasa. So some of the things you must accept. The people abagini would work in you the way they want to work, and this notion that people are subscribing to, that once Phumzile abogogo fanele yotwasa is wrong for me. Is wrong, because they come to you for different reasons and different ways. We are not the same. Yeah. We are unique. So our experiences are unique. Why abogogo bamba fungenza njengabogogo bagini? Because now abogogo bagiti they want to do into yakubo. So I might have abogogo, but I don't need to go and twasa. The only thing I need to understand, I think what we're lacking as people, we need to understand who you are and what is it that is required from you by the people that are in you. Because ukutwasa is not only the process of going to somebody's house and the person torture you for 3 months, 6 months, and then
torture.
Yes, and you come back tortured, and because you tortured, and when people come and seek help, you torture them as well. Because torture will breed torture. Yeah. But uktwasa is an everyday thing. Everything that they would want you to learn. Some things they would tell you yourself through dreams. Some things they would talk to you like they normally do. Some things you will learn from others. We are twasa, because what I believe is that the universe will always bring the right people to you at the right time. Every person you've met, you are supposed to meet. Every person that has broken your heart was supposed to come and break your heart. Every person that has messed you up was supposed to come and mess you up, because you are shaped by the experiences that you've been through, and that's why you are here. So even those gogos bako, they want you to go through that process. So whether you went to go to you find yourself in a wrong place, like Muzi always said, it was meant to be like that. For you to go through it, it's part of your utwasa.
Okay, yes. Sure, Bishop Mkhulu. Abogogo is a general term, ne? Yes. Because I'm gonna go in there where the whole gender where abogogo and abomkhulu, but we merely talking about the gift of healing in that space. Yes. No, I hear you. I like what you are saying about the universe, where you are a being in the space in the universe, and your journey is for you to be here to have a human experience, and the human experience comes with everything that you're gonna go through and everybody that will come into your life. And then we get caught up in defining ourselves based on you were born here, you were born from this religion, or you were born from this father to this family, and you went to the school. Then you start defining your being, which actually, as you go, it doesn't make sense. You were just supposed to be in the journey where you're gonna go on the other side for whatever reason. Thank you so much. Begzin, and then Sizengo Chomya Bana.
I remember last time. The Chama boy. Yes, in the last conversation.
Yeah. But we pete kahle. When I'm with you, wherever we go, ngiyakwazi ukuthi uyiphethe kahle. And ngiyazi ukuthi uphuma ekhaya elifuthumele. Yiko imfuthumalo yakho wherever we go, Yeah. So Our handsome Muzi.
Hey,
Baba Skhosana ninjani baba?
siyaphila ngaluza amagama engiqaluza
Amaningi ne.
Hey.
I phela mesiphethe wena.
Cha kodwa ngoba nginsizwa vele
Insizwa, exactly.
insizwa iba nezibongo zayo kodwa ke angiphanga zona ke
Your reflections.
konje reflecta ukuthi nguphi
Wait,
cha
yeah,
ngisesele Albert Style ngisehlala
What I love about conversation is this is free flow. We go anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
So I like
And
I.
how many wives do you have?
Eh?
angaganwani yeah no he said a lot of things I'm also taking this thing as a journey.
Okay.
Yeah, I was cornered last time to dive out today. Khona umuntu sesekhona. So we're still journeying now, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm enjoying my life. I'm still journeying, and yeah, and he touched a lot of things. So mine will be short, just to go tea. I would also want to advise about abantu ukuthi I've reflected ngabona ukuthi abantu bamoya bayalimala.
Okay.
Balinyazwa ilento yokuthi ukuthi ngathi bafuna ukubenchmarka or bafuna ukucompare ukuthi singathwasa so2 sathwasa endaweni e1 ne but izinto zingenzeki ngesikhathi esifanayo because we need to understand this the gifts are different.
Yeah.
And I always said idlozi unique.
Yeah.
Uma idlozi beliphila la emhlabeni, all of us here including our audience, we are unique. Angithi so uma sengingale I don't lose my uniqueness. Uma sengidlozi enganeni zami nebakithi I will still have I don't lose my uniqueness.
Yeah.
Ngizoba idlozi unique elizofuna into zayo kulabo ezifuna kubo yabo. So and ngibona abantu bakamoya balimala kakhulu because bayayisho lento kodwa they don't follow it ukuthi ubizwa abantu bakini ibona bazokubonisa but they don't want that.
Okay.
And recently there's been things that happened to me. I'm a popo 99 and where I was given this assurance ukuthi fine, you've been through whatever you've been through, but this is our journey now.
Okay.
Allow us to journey with you. And it might be 3 years, it might be a month, but the thing is, you need to allow them.
Okay.
So if you're gonna benchmark, because man, there's no problem in social media, TikTok, all
Yeah.
sonke singabantu bakamoya, sonke we want to voice our.
We all wanna heal the world.
Yabo, and sonke sifuna ukubonisa ukuthi sazi kangakanani. And there are people abantu like labe ngona qala when the transition happened, you are hungry for knowledge. And uhleli ulalela lapha umuntu uzokutshela ukuthi hey no ngeke uthwase usuthwasile indumba ingangena abantu endumbeni. If they're not ready for that, abantu bakini they're not ready for that. Then basically ukuthi ukuvalile ukugobela, yes some they do, but others awuvalwa ngokugobela.
Yeah.
Because you are not ready. Yeah. So you need to journey with your people. Yeah,
Church?
Hey, church, man.
Where are you in that space?
Challenge.
Why? What is the challenge when it comes to church? Maybe let me rephrase it like this. Church as in the structure, the building, the place, or as in you and religion and the Bible where you are now, just that.
I still go to church.
Okay.
There and there.
Okay.
But I still have my issues.
Okay, you still read the Bible.
You still preach that and there.
It's still conversations with the Phumzile, the girl next door. You know, when you sense that I'm not going that direction, so we're gonna take a break, and then when we come back, we're gonna unpack more. Conversations with the Phumzile, the girl next door. We just started and we were just reflecting, and it just got like very hot very soon. On that note, you were still unpacking, but you were not sure where to take this conversation about change. There's so much more that we're going to talk about, but I don't want to move too quickly without doing justice to this part. There's religion. There's religious beliefs, if I may say so. There's the Bible. And then there's apartheid, there's colonization, all in one. We are here as Black people, African people, where there's traditions. Now, in your lives, where you come from that background of church Christianity, where you're subscribing to the Christian way of life, where not the First Testament, whereby uyakwazi ukuhlaba imbuzi ukhuluma uyakwazi ukuzihlahleni, you know, but now kunemvana that comes and that came, you know, and fella is understood that you don't have to do other traditional stuff, which is the core of your being Black. There's nothing to do.
Paid it all.
Yes. So now you came out of that Christian environment, embracing who you are, or who you now your gift more on abogogo, as we said it, more of gifts in your lineage, gifts in the home, who you are, where you were born in, your role that you needed to play from your family, because there's a gift from God. We all come. If we go back to we come. So now, those two worlds now are asked, do you still read the Bible? You preach. Where is the Bible in your life now? Church, the Bible, and how do you pray now? How do you mix prayer, nokuphahla, where you are subscribing to anything that you are subscribing to, but in being yourself as a Black person? So we were still reflecting, but I would like also you, Lukhele, to just jump in, but let's go back there. Church, prayer, nokuphahla, nokufunda iBhayibheli, and how do you read? I'll tell you where I'm at. Okay. I also have my own struggle, but back to you. This is, of course, Conversations with the Phumzile. Yes, Make?
Church, I'm struggling a lot.
Okay.
I'm struggling a lot because of the knowledge that one has received and things that we continue to hear. But as you said, there's things that happened. Most of us, we are Christians because of colonization.
Most of us, we are Christians because of colonization.
Yes.
Do we know? Do people know?
I think most people are aware.
Okay.
But there's this cognitive dissonance and they don't want to accept.
Okay.
Yeah, but some are Muslim or Islam because of Arab colonization in Africa. And then so if these things they were not there,
okay,
we wouldn't be Christians or Islam people. We were still something in Kolo.
Okay.
So now the challenge, where I have a challenge in a son, uma kuzotiwa unesithunywa, which is inclined to prophetic, things. So good. And the man is isithunywa environment esimanifesta kuyo kakhulu kuba sesontweni.
Okay.
You understand?
It's true.
It's true. So now I find myself in this predicament. I don't subscribe to religion. I don't subscribe to the Bible anymore.
Okay.
But now there's this thing that we are funny.
Yeah. So if somebody
Siyafuna
doesn't
ibandla.
know what Isithunywa is, what is Isithunywa?
I think it's beyond my pay grade.
So it is a gift. But
yeah,
it's
Of prophecy.
it's a prophetic gift.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Everybody
sengiyasaba.
has it.
Yeah.
Is for the selected, gifted few.
I go, it's beyond my pay grade. Because it's like, that is why I was saying the dangers of what we are hearing.
Yeah.
And that is why I'm afraid to see, because I might get someone in a PhD as Tunya and I love better and critique.
No, I you are protected.
Yeah,
You
so
are protected.
I believe Istunya is for and it's more linked to prophetic things.
Okay.
But then gifts are different,
Yeah.
as we said. I don't think wonke umuntu unesithunywa,
Yeah.
but kungenzeka si manifeste kancane
Okay.
kumuntu.
Okay.
Or maybe wonke umuntu unaso, I don't know. But kuba khona kunabantu esivela kakhulu kubo, kube a more dominant gift than no muntu oyinyanga owazi imithi, kube he the most dominant gift
Okay.
kuloyo muntu.
Okay. Yeah, those
Uyabona ke. So but probably maybe everyone has got his too.
Okay. I hear you. I hear you. Good.
Wow, very hard, very difficult one. But I think
It goes high.
in general,
Yeah.
I'm always the controversial one, I know.
Okay.
So controversy would come in one way or another.
Bring it on.
There's something he said, I think it was last week or so, or on our drive to Mbangeni. He said something went seriously wrong because Jesus did not live the Jewish traditions.
Okay.
He was a Jew,
Yeah.
and he went through the rite of passage of Jews. What is wrong with me, Mangi Entabeni, and come back to church? Jesus did it. He went to Entabeni, Yakayama Judah, and came back to church. And to show how Jesus was glued to tradition, at the age of 12, he went to the temple. And that is the age where Jewish boys must be active in the temple. That's why I think these days we have what? Bar mitzvah at a certain age for Jews. So Jesus went through all the rituals. He even became a carpenter, taking over family business somehow. And he did all the things of the Jews. And in the New Testament, we're not talking the Old Testament. So in my maybe myopic thinking, at some point I said, maybe there's nothing wrong with the Bible. Maybe there's something wrong with how we interpret the Bible. Let me talk as a preacher.
Okay.
Every answer of life is there in the Bible. You are in grief, there's a scripture that talks about grief. You're happy, there's a scripture that talks about happiness. There's even a scripture that says, "Thokoza inhliziyo yami and be merry and go and drink wine." It's in the Bible. So I think the problem starts when we interpret it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying the Bible is infallible. It has its problems, because history will tell us that black people were excluded in the Council of Mnisi when they decided which books would go to the Bible.
Yeah.
So that's a whole another element. But what I'm saying is that as an African man, I find me in the Bible, even when I'm put in a fastel. But the problem is with a lot of people how the Bible was brought to us, and how this Christianity thing was actually instilled on us.
How to live by it.
Yes, because if you look at it, And I've said it before, black people knew who God is. It was never God to them. They called him with something else. Basotho will tell you una litlatla macholo or something like that.
Umvelingqangi, yeah.
Amaxhosa ati ambiza with different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. But black people knew there's a higher being and they subscribed to that higher being.
Wow.
And black people knew when to harvest.
Okay.
And they knew when to cut the trees. They knew which trees were not supposed to be cut. We're not taught by white people
Yeah.
everything that we are. That's why there's an argument going on, I think, in the podcast that we attended, where they say, was it taken from the Book of the Dead? Was it taken from where? Was it plagiarized from the Book of the Dead? So at the end of the day, there will always be those discussions around the Bible and its authentic.
That's where the big issue.
Exactly.
I'm okay with the Bible. I have no issues with the Bible, like any other book that I like self-help. So for me now, I can, when I'm reflecting, I can comfortably say the Bible is part of my books, the self-help.
Yeah, collection.
It's one of that collection way. And again, for us to have such conversation, and when you meet other people, and there's this topic about religion and Christianity, if you don't know some of the things, or if you can't go back to understand who you are or what they were talking about as an African person in the Bible, or yes, if I were to say, no, Bela you Judah, so so I want to do what me do.
And still go to church.
And still, so I can go back to the Bible. But if we're saying, do not read the Bible, do not get there anymore, do not do, like, the Bible must just be destroyed, then how are you then going to continue to have an experience of your life and not compare it, but reflect, or you are able to stand your ground based on anything that has been there in the Bible? But I'm comfortable. Ngimpostori. Ngisayo apostoli. And for me, it's like choosing Pirates over Chiefs.
Exactly.
Ogoti. It's just what I like socially, that I can belong somewhere where I love Iskupu. I love the sound because it's part of my being black and African, whether it comes with the Bible or not. It comes with that motivational talk to say, if you have issues, this is where you go. I love being there and I belong. There's a sense of belonging so I don't have this conflict. Ngiyathandaza, ngiyaphahla. And whether umthandazo based on a prayer where our Father, and I understand that for me, I have taken Christ and brought Christ as in, that's actually me. It's not something outside of me. It's not this guy who died for me and all that. Actually, it's just me who experiencing being better every other day in how I deal with self, with people, in giving, in helping and all that. I am that, if we want to call it Christ, it's easy reference. That's me.
Yeah. After a break, sizongena kulo Christ.
Sizongena kule Christ. So when we
conflict.
So now we are kuyavuleka manje mkhulu.
Yeah,
I like that you are getting comfortable. So then when we come back, I want us just to talk about the few things from that podcast. They spoke about ego. They spoke about the women, the place of women now is Sintwini. And I also want to talk about it. I want to go back to Istunywa. But the big part of the conversation this time around, I would like us to talk about isibongo, the belonging, nokuzalwa komuntu, in the male side, the female side. So conversations with the Phumzile, the girl next door. So I hear beeps and we're saying at the break. Conversations with the Phumzile, the girl next door. So they say we are made in the likeness of God. However, who that God is for you, hey, it's another topic for another day. So so I want us to, I know when we talk religion, sometimes it's difficult to leave the topic because there is so many things, that comes out. But maybe before we move to the next topic, you wanted to say something about the Bible and Christianity before I
Jesus, actually.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. There's
not
a
Jesus.
comedian, I forgot the name of this comedian, but they are on Facebook. So I'm just sharing a quick story. So we are caught up, but the mom is like mopping the floor and all that, and umntana kuyangena, while kumanzi pants, and then she started she started saying,
just
don't working on water. But it's one of those beautiful things the human being you can think about. Velo, why you have a piece of manzi? But let's talk about the daughter yomuntu. Yes.
I'm WhatsApp group.
Okay.
Next.
You've left the group or he left.
So when guys,
okay.
You see, this is the struggle I have with church, because now when now Christ, you don't, how you see Christ. Now they say the Christ form.
Oh yeah.
There's this thing here is about Dlamini.
Yeah.
But this is where now I have an issue with no. Uchesu.
Yeah.
It's a state that you need to achieve in your life. The Christ
your
form.
Higher self.
The higher self.
Yeah.
But I believe that that message is not ready for Dlamini.
Okay.
And this is where I have an issue.
Yeah.
In the sound.
Okay.
Because I want to turn this thing now. Okay, now that I know this.
Yeah.
And which means this is what they want me to drive this message across.
Yeah.
Use the same Bible, but now reveal other things.
Yeah.
The Christ form. He might have not existed.
Yeah.
But let's take, what are the characters of Christ?
That state.
Yeah, but the Christ state. And one of the things that I hold high in E1, and this is where I think if all of us can reach that state, Sizoba sharp. This guy knew who he was.
Okay.
So that is why he could manifest whatever he wanted to manifest.
Okay.
So if once you know who you are, because he said, Mina nonkulungulu we are one.
You know what? You've said it all, and I'm happy. I want you to just hold it there. Self. Oguti, it means the message that we have now is in everything that we do. We just need to know who we are and become who we are in everything else in the world.
Yeah.
And if we are made in a likeness of him, it means we are everything that he is.
Exactly.
We are Umdali. Actually, we are God ourselves. And that's why we are here.
Because we have, although people don't see an audience.
Oh yes, we have conversations with it. Yes,
and we think that the audience, we have an architect.
Okay, yes.
So if God was, according to the Bible, he was the architect of what we see.
Yes.
So if God is an architect, I'm also an architect of my life.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so
Tumelo, we have an audience production.
And this is what I've also said. If God can say, let there be.
Yeah.
And this is the state that we all need to strive to get to say in our lives. Let there be, and that must manifest.
I think what Muzi has said, like it still takes us back to interpretation, because the Bible itself in the New Testament, it says, "Follow me as I follow Christ." That was Peter. Be like Christ. So, like he said, that is the message you must preach. It's a state. Just like a lot of people now start to believe heaven is not a place, but it's a state
It's a state of mind.
that you get to, that you reach.
Yeah.
And once you reach that stage, even Jesus himself was not saying people must do something out of the ordinary. He said, if you believe, if you have faith, if you believe In other words, believe start with yourself.
Yeah.
You can't believe anything outside of you if you have not believed yourself.
Yeah.
You first have to believe that I have strength, I can do this thing, I can be able to, to do anything that I want to do if I put my mind to it. And that's what Jesus was teaching. So the interpretation thereof must change. That's why I'm saying I'm still gonna be in church. And what I'm gonna preach in church is different. Believe me, I'm gonna preach fire.
Okay.
Not something small.
Yes.
You know why?
Not something small.
Yeah, now I understand the principle.
Okay.
It is the principle that we don't understand. Once you understand the principle, he's an architect. He understands the principle of foundation. And that's why when he designed the house, he will tell you there must be steel, there must be
bricks,
concrete, it must be this thick, because that's the principle of building a house. Otherwise, anybody else can come and build a house without a foundation. It will stand. But the problem is that there are certain principles that are missing. And you would see, I'm not trying to be preachy, but you would see that even the Bible itself, the Bible itself does not go against the principles of nature. Whoever scribed it knew the principles of nature. That's why a lot of people said we confuse, are we going to heaven, which is up, or are we coming down? But the Bible has never said we are going up or coming down. The Bible has said when Christ comes, he's going to come back to earth and rule. Because the principle of the force of gravity says whatever that goes up must come down. So if the Bible says Jesus went up, and then the very same Bible says he will come down to earth, whatever that is, if it's going to happen.
So blinding. You are walking on water.
So basically for me it's about the principles. The principles of life. And if you look at our principles as Abantu from Kwantu, they subscribe to the Bible, because our principle says do not kill life unnecessarily. That's why in the black culture you don't just go and cut trees and cut flowers and you have no use for them. There've always been principles to live by.
We always respected nature.
The nature was respected, people were respected, and you go back to the Old Testament. In the Old Testament you're told don't eat this, eat this. You are even told about the diet. And as African people, diet is our thing. We knew what to eat. That's why we were stronger than I don't want to get to other avenues.
Yes. Conversations, I tell you. So now we slightly, talked about belonging and where we come from now, Ubuntu betu. And then kuno Adam, kuno Eva, and then there's us Neibongo Namakam. When I introduced myself, I didn't introduce myself Maskala for this particular reason, where knowing self now, where you belong into a family, where Adam no ever begin Naibong. And then there we come, angazinto yibongo isukapi. Then kuba nama traditions, kuba nama siko. Where you find yourself, go Phumzile, go Lindiwe, go Bridget, go Portia forenames, with also 100 surnames. You come from the Ngomezulu side, you come from the Mnisi side, who they come from, Then there's that. Sikhulumile ngama gift abogogo nabomkhulu. In that esibongweni. Adam no ever bongena sibongo. What is your opinion? Maybe we can even base it from the podcast that we went to, where it seemed to say to yini ubuntu, yini umuntu, the Abantu nation. What is that concept for you?
You're getting deeper, Gok.
Sibe obsessed ngokuthi nguzulu ngwakabani ophuma kanjani owela umfula kanjani, So what's that about?
Isbongo. For me, what I know, what I've heard, is that they're based on events in somebody's lives. Whether heroic or not so heroic. That's where they've started. I don't want to go back to the garden and the snake and God knows what. I don't want to
Real
go
or not
back.
real.
Yeah, I don't want to go back to the garden. But the what you call them, the anthropologist, they would tell you who came where and who came what, and they can even explain it from the creation to say how did certain people. I think maybe one day we'd get to that. But in our African context, most of the surnames that we have, they begin with names.
Okay.
That's to my knowledge. They begin with names. And if we go back to Kemet, we would find out there was somebody who was called so and so, and then they came whether it was the east or the west until others went to different directions. But at the end of the day, I'll go back to what I said. It's a journey.
Okay.
You define yourself as you go along. And every environment that you come to helps you to define yourself even better.
Yeah.
So whatever that you come in touch with, in fact, like I said, there's nothing new that is happening to you. There's nothing new. Whatever that is happening to you, it's a repetition of what happened to your ancestors. Within our DNA, it's imprinted who is we going to meet. I was going to meet Tammy today. Physically, I did not know. But in my spirit, I know I'm going to meet Tammy. I'm just going to make an example before I wrap up. Something happens in the township recently. Back of my mind, I knew something not so good is gonna take place, and I've seen it in the spirit, but I just can't fathom it. I can't explain it to people. So when something triggers it, and I say to people, "Be careful." I don't know what I must say to you, but be careful. Because in our DNA, everything that we will come against is imprinted in us. That's why nothing kills us that happens to us. Because before it happens...
Nothing kills us.
Yes, that happens to us.
Okay.
Because whatever happens to us has already happened to us.
Okay.
So, yes, whatever happens to us...
So resilience comes...
Yes, resilience has been built already. Okay. Because in the spiritual realm, we experience whatever war. And then when we go into it physically, it's either we're defeated by it, and then when it comes physically, it's still going to defeat us to go back to the drawing board. Hence, that's why in the senior card we find ourselves in the same place that we were last year. It's because we were defeated spiritually. So now when the stress comes to Utebuko physically, it's something that he was supposed to have dealt with and defeated it, so that when it comes physical, you just go through. Because you already know. That's why there are other situations when they come to you, you just have a solution how to deal with them because you've seen them before. So the issue of surnames, therefore it's imprinted, our DNA is, like I said, it were names of people, and people would identify themselves with what has happened to them. Like if ngazibongelela ngithi ukhabonina wazalela khabo mama ke babetha ngeke aphumelele kanti uzophumelela. And then my children becomes abokhabonina. For instance, yes, Lukhele came like this and like this. But
sure. And going back to ukuzazi, so that you can live this life well, to get to higher self in all you are. But
after this.
It's more.
Yeah. Like he said, Ibong.
Yeah.
And I think that is where we lost it.
Okay, tingenze kanjeki. Ibong. Ne. Now there's a thing where you are born from male and female. And isibongo kubongelwa whoever the person. Kodwa isibongo esiphakanyiswayo esakubobaba. Bese kuba things that has to happen for you to belong and have a rightful surname of your paternal side. Ithathe lapho ke where now kunento zokuhlawula kunesikuthi if kuyibongo nje. So mfuthi masibuya ke asise lapho. We spoke about it from, and it was one of those things where like aha, ubelonga ko mama kunesibongo if kungayenzwanga ukuthi nokuthi ubelonga kubo baba if so kuyabongelwa lapho. So ngifuna ukuthi usise lapho when we come back.
Okay.
All right, go. Yeah, mkhulu. Samba now.
Sizwe.
Conversations with the Phumzile, the girl next door. Sure. Yeah. You know, off camera, other conversations, then they come and then it becomes another conversation that, yeah, we just spoken about something that is so profound, but for the next time. We're still on Ibongo.
Oh.
And the belonging thereof, which now we've spoken about the Bible, we've spoken about our higher self and all that. But for us to be there or go there to that place, we need to come back to self. So I'm bringing in Ibongo in a way of now that self, where you were born and how you identify yourself and how ukubongela ngakhona ukuzuzazi that much. How does it also tie back into what we're talking about, so that when you leave, when you go and do your stuff, when your human experience, you do it very well, knowing who you are in all of you, not because of any subscription, but now of where you were born of, and who are those people, you know, and what did they do, and you know, and as they come back, bazo manifesta as aboko nabomkhulu to say, I didn't do that, or come, here's my wisdom, you can build like this. They come and then they manifest in that way. So mfuna qala uyibambe ngokwe zibongo and the belonging ko baba bo malume, and the significance yokuzazi. When now we're saying in our African culture, uphume khaya eltize, and there's a reason ukuphuma kulelo khaya, so it's important to know and make sure, but even if ungazi ukuthi uphuma kulelo khaya, find out and do it right, so that your belonging makes sense, because then it will help your journey easier.
Okay.
Ngiyazi ngifaka into eningi lapha.
Yeah, hey.
I know, like
I'm processing all this.
but I know.
Hey.
I know you will get it.
Nah, okay. Basically, bongo. Njengoba seshithi ukubonga.
Yeah.
Zineyibongo zikaShaka. Ngesikhathi ngisafunda bomela uzazi ibongo zikaShaka, ngesikhathi ngisenza isizulu.
Yeah.
Lesitestwa nangaso. So,
yeah.
Ibongo, yes, they also play a role go identification.
Yeah.
Ungubani, who are you? Because ngumuzi mkhulu kabani. Yabo. And I think we konentomazane show something which is bit controversial ngibongo wathi asenzi ibongo. Sesistike kulezi. Sesitholayo. But before bezenziwa.
Okay.
Before, and this is where Ganyani, this movie edlalayo lento le series Islam will show ukuthi why kuthiwa uZulu kaMageba, because it's just going back kabani bani. So kahle mina bokumele isibongo sami ngumuzi mkhulu kaMaqaleni ngoba baba uMaqaleni.
Okay.
Yes, Skhosana, kodwa kumele abe ngumuzi mkhulu kaMaqaleni. Ingane zami umpumelelo kamuzi mkhulu kaMaqaleni. uMaqaleni umgqibelo wayebona wakamkhokho or wakaJankatho wakalibhanti wakabanibani. But we just now sihlala la kuSkhosana.
Yeah.
uSkhosana obuya kumhlanga. And then kodwa umhlanga wayebuya kubani, wayezalwa ubani. Yabo odumisa bakhona lapho, kodwa nabo kudumisa kabani.
Okay.
So now,
which makes sense makati asenziwa. So ubamba lezi is
now we have constrained ourselves
to that.
Fucking aphoka wamangmang, you know, onabo reditawu abanye rediphiri yabo sesibambe lapho Ndlovu Gatsheni.
Okay.
And then but I think we are killing it.
Okay. I hear you.
So it's just good isibongo ukuthi wena uma uyibonga.
Okay.
Njengoba ngisho mina umzi mkhulu kaMaqaleni.
So that's why then it makes it easier masibheka ibongo ngaleyo ndlela. Now ngizobuya kule controversy now sibheka ibongo ukuthi uzalo ubani ukuvumile wakuphika or wakuhlawula or azange akuhlawule and then isibongo sakho is that.
Yabona njengoba ngisho.
Yeah.
It's still the base is there.
Yeah.
Noma engahlawulanga because now all these things
still
these things now sesize ngazo. I couldn't believe that it's cultural.
Yeah.
Sakhulele kwi culture. But I think we need to test certain things.
Okay.
Because kumele azazi ubheki wakaLukhele konje bokubani babakhokhela. And unokuyisho ngubheki kaBhutana. When uBhutana kahlawulanga, it doesn't erase ukuthi ungubheki wakaBhutana. Hence isihlupha because now lezi zinto esesiyifakile ukuthi now you kumele uhlawule lobo lingane.
For you to be rightful
you are denying oBhutana nalabantu lineage kaBhutana to be present in his life
by putting price and stuff.
And it doesn't erase the fact ukuthi ungubheki kaBhutana ngumuzi wakaMacaleni. Wena uMacaleni wangiphika or wakahlawulanga or he acknowledged me. We can never erase that.
Okay. We had an interesting conversation, or we were listening to the interesting conversation. I want you to unpack that part of conversation about usiko namasiko when it comes to njoba sikhuluma ngobheki kabani ukuthi kunesiko lasekhaya kunesiko namasiko wethu as in the African culture and tradition where now we call it culture, but masifika la endlini la kwa Phatedi or kwa Mnisi where it's different too kwa Skhosana.
Yeah, and I think into esibulele le.
Yeah.
Especially the Zulu people. No, ukwenza sinokuyikhuluma nasekhaya ngayikhuluma ngenye into ukuthi ezinye izinto ezisibulalayo ukuthatha izinto zendawo. La ufika khona bese sizenza ngathi culture.
Okay.
Give an example. Ekhaya sibuye Free State Ritz. And then esikhathini esiningi makuhlatsha kusetshenziswa imvu. And I said, do you understand why you ended up umsebenzisa imvu? Because there the dominant animal for sacrifice
is
imvu. Mangabe bebe enyangeni ewumsuthu ingavele ithi tamalo hlaba phofolo hlaba.
Okay.
Because yabo.
Sure.
Kodwa uma ungumZulu thina se understand ukuthi izinto ezihambelana nedlozi imbuzi.
Yeah.
And I've started introducing indaba embuzi ekhaya. Mina mase ngenza umsebenzi ngihlaba ngembuzi.
Okay.
Because I understand ukuthi bakhona izinto zendawo ezathathwa.
Ah.
So kukhona ezinye izinto zithi usiko, but it was just a norm.
Okay.
A societal norm that we found ourselves in. And then we adopted this thing as culture.
Like how then you are born in colonities.
Exactly. It was just a societal norm.
To do with you.
And it has nothing to do nomndeni again. There are things that emele zenziwe la ekhaya which might not align to the societal norm.
Yeah.
But because of wanting to belong, we've taken certain things which are a societal norm, and then we've decided to say now it's a culture.
Sure. Yeah. I'm not gonna go back there anymore where sizokhuluma in terms of inhlawulo. So you say somewhere else. I think we can safely leave it there, and I would like that to be a topic for another session where we're gonna talk about the whole inhlawulo, amalobolo, and how then a family unit, deals with stuff. And when you are a human being now, ukhula and starting your own life, how does that affect you? Because I can feel it will take us somewhere. I still want us to reflect. So on that day as well, they spoke about women. And I think and you know, when he said women are the center of everything, without them, Uze Waisho, a proper center that woman is between everything, you know. So it's Women's Month. And he spoke about how important it is to understand the role of a woman, and kubene reverse whereby males were put in society like head, and it destroyed a whole lot of things, because the role of a woman is so critical to a point whereby you cannot I don't want to say Guti, there's we are not equal. You know, there's a man and a woman, the whole equality, the gender, and all the things that are happening now has nothing to do with it, but it's just our understanding of our role and how men then became the leader and their responsibilities, and it went south. So we are here as women today, understanding our role. I'll take it back to Kancane, between Bible and then tradition. He also said, when you talk about Ushaka, who was born of Angit, when you talk of Jesus, they was born of Umir. So those two powerful women, but they are not given recognition of, you know, giving birth to kings.
Sorry, when you take it there, I also advocate for some women that in the Bible they were not advocated for.
Yeah.
Because Mama Jesus is seen as a hero or a shiro because of Jesus. And this is why you know, adding to this thing, you go bavalela
Exciting. Yeah.
I once said, and a story in the Bible, Job loses he loses all his children. Ne?
Yeah.
And the wife said, "Why am I to and die?"
Okay.
Ne? And then he says, "You speaking like a foolish woman." She never said she's a foolish woman. She's speaking like a foolish woman.
Okay.
And I said, no one has looked into the pain of this woman,
Okay.
of losing all her kids.
Yeah.
The Bible is silent about that woman's pain. The Bible is silent about this woman taking care of indoda yakhe igula ivele zonke lezi in the head. It was killing this woman to see this man in pain. After he lost everything, and he still continues being in pain, and everyone is silent about the pain of this woman. So I just, for once, and then we advocate Skhosana.
Yes.
For
Amandala. Yeah, profound. So where is, like, what's our place as women in society now? Where are we as women? From the men's perspective, I'm deliberately asking from a men's perspective, because as women, we know who we are, and we understand who we are, and we understand our strength. There is, like Mangitu Shaga and no Christ, but we know Guti, there is no king without us. There is no, you know, you know, as in production. So we know who we are, and the whole we are giver of lives, you know, both male and female. So we carry the 9 months, we deliver, we bring life. We know our power. We know what we can do as women. In Ngene, we can turn it to anything. We know, and there is no need for us to fight for any space and all that. But there's a lot that is happening in women's life now, with now our male counterparts, where now there's this world that we live in that we don't belong in the same world. I think it must be. Conversations with the Phumzile. How are you? Yeah, no, it does get hot. So I just want us to go back to Indawo yabantu besifazane and nokuthi, from your perspective as male, what should we know about our space as women so that we don't constantly want to be seeming like we are fighting for our space where we don't have to. I spoke about who we are. We know that we have strength. We know that we are giver of lives. We know that a king, we produce kings, we produce entrepreneurs, we produce doctors and all that, because we shape you from usakula. Okay, I know ezinye we are not doing very well. There was another conversation we break that part of things that I would like to talk about, the role that we play when we're raising our boys, that affects them in the future, and all that. Then we become, but our role as women, where are we now in this century? And what should we know as women? As Women's Month, yes, everybody kumangat as in Bogoto. I refuse to buy in Bogoto. I am not hard, and I don't want anybody to hit me hard to tell me in Bogoto. I am not in Bogoto. I am not. I refuse to be in Bogoto. I am not. But yes, those Bogotos, siyababongela, because there was something about, I think it was a strength part of it. But now, seshayika kalula ngathi singama drums, ngama piano, because in Bogoto ngathi asikhali. But anyway, back to.
Can I be controversial?
Yes.
Women don't know what they have.
Okay.
They have not begun to unravel what they've been given by God. I'm listening to you. You're always talking about power. Yes, power. But women have influence. It is not strength that makes them change the world. It is the influence. There's something powerful that women have. I'm starting there. It's influence, the power of influence. I'll tell you now why this wall are painted this color, blue and white. It's because of a woman. He didn't force him to paint this color, but it's influence. Influence is power that is not aggressive. It's a very passive power that women use. And in history, women have known how to use that passive power, which is called influence. And I'm going to take you, before I go deep, I'm going to take you to Umkabayi.
Yeah,
Umkabayi Kajama had so much power. Umkabayi is a kingmaker, was a kingmaker. He dethroned kings, powerful people. But did he fight them?
Did she?
Did she? No, she didn't. She actually used her influence. The power of influence that women have. Yes, women are powerful.
Okay.
And society doesn't value them that much, given what is happening. But I'll tell you where things went wrong.
Okay.
We've never put our women as second-class citizens as African. It was not our thing. We've never have to put them as second-class because in our cultural context as African people, women were always in the top of the hierarchy. They've always been there. That's why they were kingmakers. There was nothing that a man would do in a house without discussing with the woman. And the ultimate decision, when I was growing up, my father would say, I would speak to your mother.
Yes,
and even if kufika indoda ekuthiwa powerful kanganani uthi ngisazokhuluma nonkosikazi wami. And if the nkosikazi says no, it's not happening. Because the nkosikazi has spoken. Who has the power here? It's the nkosikazi. So women are powerful beings throughout history. Not because they can only bear children, but they can raise them. They can shape them to be who they want them to be. Most of us, the careers we've chosen were shaped by women. They somehow influenced what you're going to become. And I'm going to talk about my dress code. I'm dressed formally most of the time. My mother influenced that dress code. He would buy me shirts. He would buy me. It's like he knew who I was going to be when I grew up. So he had to shape me. He knew. Somehow mothers know That's why even when she's educated or not educated, she knows those motherly instincts. She knows that this boy is going to become something great. Julius Malema's grandmother knew that this boy is going to become something bigger. And now he's here. Lastly, there's something Phumzile. When we talk about a woman, we talk about a man with a womb. It's a man. That's why the word, the etymology is a womb man. The man who has a womb. And why does she have a womb? It's because she's able to conceive. And to conceive is not only on physical basis, but she can conceive even on the spiritual basis, and she can conceive mentally. I remember I preached about this at Showe, and this is a principle I've lived by. If you have a vision, tell it to a woman. Tell it to a woman, no matter how big it is. It could be you want to become a millionaire one day. Tell her, honey, one day I want us to be millionaires. And that dream of becoming millionaires is going to happen. Do you know why? Every word you deposit to a woman, she's an incubator. She gets pregnant with what you tell her. That's why when you say hurtful words to her, she gets pregnant by that, and then she produces toxic environment. And if you admonish her and tell her good words, submission will automatically come. You wouldn't ask her to submit. If you always tell her you are beautiful, I love you, I appreciate you, you are building. That's why, if I may get deeper, that's why women in history will always fall for words. Actions will come later. Yes. Women will always fall for words. And men know that weakness. So if I say to her and I call her names, good names, she's gonna fall for me. That's why men knows and manipulate it. Because you are depositing. But we must remember, when we deposit, it's that if you deposit good things, you're gonna withdraw good things. But if you deposit bad things, you're gonna call us and say, hey, you created this one. She created a war. Because a woman, that's why culture my wife is included. Because umntwana makafika zalwa, you deposit, and even a woman makafika la ekhaya zogana, you deposit ukuthi la ekhaya sinjani, sidlani, senza ini, ukhipha yonke into yakubo ufake yakini. And she's gonna be, that's why ithakazelo zaziwa bomama, because umfundisile wena, and then she carries the legacy. Women are legacy carriers. They carry legacy. If you want it to continue, give it to them. So they get pregnant. And the last thing is, when you have a vision, tell a woman, I said. But if you don't tell her anything, it's in her nature to give birth. She's going to give birth to something one way or another, because you are asking her to do something against her nature, not to give birth to anything, when you're not giving her anything to give birth to.
Seed, if you don't.
Yes. So you must deposit the seed in her, because she's a field. And when she gives birth to what you've given her, you become happy. The family multiplies. But in the absence of a vision, she's going to build her own, because there's nothing. In the absence of a foundation, she's going to build her own foundation, because you want her to go against her nature. She's a builder. She gives birth. So she would give birth and then bathi ukudonsa ngempumulo. No, it's because you did not give her anything to build.
Baba Lukhele, you just touched something. You just touched something that, and I'm glad that you invited. Umoya made it happen that Usnono would come here. And you had a different conversation outside of this, and we had it kangan. And I would like us to have that conversation in the future. That we said, in the absence of the seed, in the absence of anything as a male that you are depositing, a woman would then build her own.
Yes.
Ngiyafuna ukuthi uphendule uthame ngaba ngizokunika wena le ukuthi why inkosikazi. I think that has been answered. Inkosi gazi, you know, like the naming indlovukazi, maybe you will have the. But then, is this why then there's an issue or a disconnect between males and females, where now when you're building your own, when you start building, because there's no deposit, there's no leadership, there's no, then you're building your own, and then the masculine part or the male, then it's left in now a space whereby it's being built kakhulu, or in every, or multiply in every way while they are there, and then they look at you as if, hey,
they feel frustrated.
Without me. You did this. You ukhulisa abantwana like this without me, because there's the absence of men understanding that their seed is important. Their seed is the main. They need to know that they are depositing to the multiplier, and this is the nature. It's not the competition to say because I'll multiply.
It's a nature
it's nature.
Yes.
So is that maybe the basis of why we are here now, where males, they feel like, okay, now you are a doctor, now you are this, you've multiplied, you have more money, you have more influence, you have more power, and all, do you think you're better than me?
There's a question she asked.
Yeah.
She said, what is the place for a man?
Yeah.
When we say a man is not in his place, he works the field. That's his work. He must work the field and produce crops. And now, the working the field, you putting a seed, not knowing what it will become. You know it will be some millicop or whatever it is, but you putting it might not be that. The ground will decide how fertile the ground is, and who makes the ground fertile. It is the person, the farmer, who must admonish the ground, so that while the seed is in the ground, the compost makes you don't understand this. The compost makes this ground to be fertile, to produce something as powerful. The powerful being that is produced, or the powerful end result, is because of what the farmer has done. Yes, you've deposited, but did you work? Did you work for it? Now, the dissonance then comes in when we men feel are left out. We feel we are left out because she has to do something in the absence of the seed deposited. It's in her nature. Just to explain this, I usually say to women, don't fall for a man without a vision. Don't. The worst thing you can do is to settle down with a man who does not know where he wants. He might have nothing. He might walk. He might be a pedestrian. He might not even have shoes. But where does he want to go?
That's important.
And people think that women want riches. Women want a man who has direction. Where are you taking us?
So that we can go.
So, but if that is not there, the man will feel I'm out of place because she has achieved all these things without me. And he's right to feel like that because the nature dictates that she cannot achieve it without you channeling the blessing.
Yeah. Leave it right there.
Yeah, just agriculture.
Yeah, no. Leave it right there. Leave it right there. Conversations with the Phumzile, the girl next door. Me sitting here all the time, I learn, as a woman, I am learning and unlearning, and understanding self in this place. And I'm so grateful for the both of you and always being here to help me unpack. Sometimes I have the conversations in my head, but when I want to articulate things, they don't even come out the way they do. But you are always making it easier to bring out everything that I want everybody else out there to know. So we're gonna do the last segment, and we have our guests, and I think they have questions based on other stuff that we've spoken about. And I'd like to open when we come back, just give them a chance. And my last reflection from the unpopular opinion. What was your takeaway, and where you seeing these opinions and unpopular opinions, and us as the podcast, where are we going, where are we taking this, and what are we teaching everybody else? Conversations with the Phumzile, the girl next door. We'll be right back. Conversations. Yeah, no, it's getting hot. I had to stop him right there.
Yeah, no.
But I know Buti, twin flames. There's also the bromance. Like you're like, yeah, no. So go there. Go to that agriculture where you want to take it to. I know when you're brought it. I know there's so much more that you're gonna.
You see, when you said
yeah.
Africans, we always respected nature, and everything is it boils down. And I like it where you took it.
Yeah.
And there's a question that you asked that spark this identity boni like there's this disjunct. How do we close the disjunct? He says you need to deposit. And then as males, and then umama umfanisa as umhlaba, am I right?
It's a crown.
Yeah, it's a crown.
It's a field.
Yeah, but I once attended because you imbuzi.
Okay.
And then
it costs
because I wanted to do good farming.
Okay.
You just cutting to us. I mean, ngaboni opportunity. Yeah, imbuzi yasebenza la. So supply, I mean. So I still need to do that, So, but what I've learned is good, and it's something that I didn't know. The soil has a profile.
Okay.
So there's something called soil profile, where you need to go. That information is readily available at the department, or they can come also and do the test to say the soil profile. Corner. You can only plant this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
And this is where the disjuncture is between us and the woman. Sometimes I do not understand the profile, soil profile that I have. So now I sometimes like you said, don't get to mutu, but also me as a man, it's my duty to understand the soil profile so that whatever seed that I want to plant, is this the right soil to plant in? Is the profile of the soil in? I'm not just saying
Sometimes
right.
you plant and it doesn't flourish because the soil is wrong.
It's wrong.
And you're planting a wrong seed
In the wrong soil.
The right seed on the wrong
The right seed in
the
the
seed
wrong
is
soil.
right,
Yeah.
but the soil
So
is
that's another. That's
It
another
doesn't remove good, it's still a soil.
Yes.
As he said, whether you plant or not, something will sprout.
yes.
That is why now, even if the farmer is not planting, something will come. Uchan or
Because
in
then
it.
chow the soil.
you know, before I open Gune audience, because at least now I can tell what I know.
Can I go
it's
home?
getting. Yeah, no. This takes me to issues of divorce.
Yeah.
But sometimes
Ish.
it's not because the other person is a wrong person. And it's exactly what we're talking about. That sometimes it's because right seed, wrong soil.
No, I
wrong
have to
soil.
preach about this. I'm going to preach about. I may have to have a seminar. You're all invited.
We are
And
invited.
it's free.
We
Yeah,
definitely coming.
This is
Sure, women.
wow.
Okay, it is Women's Month. It
Wow.
had to be hot
Yes.
now.
Wow.
So we have audience. I don't know, production. Are you able to go and okay? We want ghost. Okay, so we'll have them as ghost. Anything from your side? Thank you so much for joining Conversations with the Phumzile. We are so excited to have you here, and I know there's many questions of clarity seeking and more. Your takeouts or questions or anything on your side.
I think the first question could be expanding on what he just touched on now, of understanding soul profile and the seed. What I want to know is that is there something that can be done, either if you've got a certain soil profile, are you able to then work on your seed to fit this, or can you do the inverse? So whether, depending on what you have, so if you're the seed holder, are you able to then harness your seed to then flourish in that particular soil profile? And if you've got the particular soil profile, whatever seed that comes, are you able to then adjust yourself to then suit the particular? Or it's just that if it's a mismatch, it's a mismatch, and that's where it is. So
Yeah.
can work be done
Before
on
you
either side?
answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
You okay?
No, there was no. Now I'll make a statement towards the end. It's not a question.
Okay.
I'm clear.
No,
You are sorted.
I'm sorted.
Asma.
I think for now, whatever has been said, I feel like there's a lot of segments. Now it's your duty to
Close it.
put them into being. Like maybe have different a build up of different podcasts and have build up of all of this until we get somewhere.
Okay,
We're going somewhere.
But it's
And
always
just
the
make
case
sure
here.
that I bring it back so that if we,
Yeah.
like next time, if we're gonna come back, because I feel like this last part, it's deeper on its own, where we were reflecting, we're coming back from a long break, but
Yeah.
when we talk about women in our place and men in their place, and that's what we're talking about, then okay, you can answer.
No, okay. I don't know agriculture yet. Maybe I might still need to do. But I understood there that soil can be treated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I want to say this is just my view. Maybe there is some treatment that might be brought, but one thing that I think we first need to do is self-mastery, to understand. The seed holder needs to understand yourself. The soil need to understand this and start having honest and difficult conversations. For me, that is the treatment that is both needed for the seed and the soil.
Okay. Before I'm gonna open for closing statement, I think on my side, what I've learned in this journey of life and a journey of being, we spoke about manifestation. We spoke about us experiencing ourselves as human beings. I felt like every soil and every seed has a place and can work anywhere, anyhow. But it means as you go in life, Peggy said something about wherever you're gonna be, you will be. Whoever you're gonna meet, you will meet. Whether right seed, right soil, or wrong, it doesn't really matter. What matters is where you are planting, where you are doing, you being. Be there with an open mind of where you're still going, because it might be shaping you for the proper seed or for the proper ground that you're gonna go to. So it's not a matter of going for the right soil. That doesn't matter. But what I've learned,
It's the process.
There's no soil that is useless. There's
There
no
isn't.
seed that is not useless. Yeah.
so I've learned to peel myself as an onion. I've learned to let go of a whole lot of things. I've learned to divorce everything that I know. I'll bring it here. I've been with my partner, with my husband for the longest time. But there's been religion, culture, colonization, wealth, everything else, the noise that I needed to be part of. Knowing and not knowing, where a Kayu mama, you need to be this, you need to be that, you need to be this, you need to subscribe to this, you need to become all of that. Then you meet somebody young where you don't even know a vision. You don't even know your own vision. When it didn't even matter whether somebody has a vision or not, or where you wanna hang up, and then you are in the space together. After trying so hard and so to build and grow and multiply everything to whatever the vision that we didn't even have or knew that we have or not, then everything fell apart. Until I took a step back and divorced everything. Divorced the white, wanting the white girl. Divorced having a ring. Divorced belonging in a certain surname. Divorced wanting a big house or a small house and whatever. But then I let go of everything, and I was like, I am gonna be with where I am now. What am I gonna do with what I have now? There's kids who are born of me, who are born of the seed. The reason that we are here is for us to coexist. In coexisting is now like, okay, now because I'm not in the UK or wherever where maybe I would have wanted to be, now let me see the seed and the soil that I'm in. What can I do with it? How can I make it what still makes sense to me and I'm happy with it, I'm content, and I'm gonna make it how I want it. Then when I divorced everything, like literally divorced everything, and I brought back everything, there is nothing. There's just us. There's the 5 of us. No need for surname. No need for any other. We belong. No, we live here together. Who are you? Who are you? What do you want? And how do we make sure that within the space, we all exist and we are happier in every other thing that we want? Let's help each other.
I don't think you're hearing yourself. Are you?
Conversations with the woman at the car next door.
You must listen to that.
Okay.
Go back to it.
You must listen to that when we all got, and just listen to it. You've just said something huge, something very big. And whether you were talking to me, I don't know, but you said something huge.
We're gonna wrap up. We're gonna wrap up, yes.
Yeah.
In the wrap up, before then,
Yeah.
I get the closing statement. I just want to sum up conversations with the Phumzile, the girl. This is why we are here. I think this is why I do what I do, because it's life, it's healing, it's way forward. Let's go.
And you understand your healing, by the way.
Yes.
You understand that you are tasked with healing people by talking.
Yes.
Yes, you understand that role.
Phumzile, kula phumle kakhona.
Yeah, and whatever happens, don't stop talking, because that's what is healing people. It's what is
It's your calling.
like your calling is not like people who go and tell people, but you talk to people and they get healed, because you get to tap into their personal problems without you knowing that you are there and you're talking to them. So don't stop talking.
Namaste.
Namaste. Closing statement. Since you said this is gonna be a closing statement. Ghost man, not ghost lady, ne? Ghost guy. Ghost guy.
No, I just wanted to say that earlier on I said one is having difficulties now praying and stuff, solely because of how one was raised up, actually believing everything in the Bible actually happened.
Superman. No Superman.
No Superman.
No Jesus.
So I felt
That walking on water, Superman move. No, it happened. That guy walked on water.
Yeah, so one felt a sense of betrayal. Have I been a fool all these days?
Quite too long.
And actually going to church and preachers, pastors telling me that all these things these preachers lying to me as well.
Okay.
So now with all this newfound knowledge, to cut a long story short, I now know when you're talking about Christ, we are not talking about an individual or a person. It's a state of being, high vibration.
Not Superman.
No, not Superman. I think I'm ending there.
No superhuman.
Oh wow, it's been a beautiful day, beautiful conversations all the time. So please subscribe to our channel and please hit that like button.
The like.
Yes, and the bell so that you can be notified when we post the next video. But please do comment so that we are able to bring you topics and conversations that matters to you. So this is Conversations with the Phumzile, the girl next door, and I'm with my boys next door.
Siyabonga.
Thank you.